Alright, so now we're going to do problem 8.5. It's a Black-Scholes pricing model equation. You're going to have to know how to do it by hand because we do not have Excel. So, there are some givens that we have to use for the three equations that will be given on the exam. You do not have to know the three equations for the Black-Scholes problem. So, P, which is stock price, equals $30. X equals $35, and that's the exercise price. T equals 0.333, which is 4 months divided by 12, which gives you that percent, or gives you that decimal. The risk-free rate, which is 5%. Now it says your variance, which is sigma squared, equals 0.25. But you need your standard deviation, which is the square root of your variance, which gives you sigma equals 0.5, which is your standard deviation. Now, you have three equations, your value equation, your D1, and your derivative 1, and your derivative 2 equation. First, let's start the derivative 1 equation. So it says, it's D1 equals the ln, parentheses, 30 divided by 35, plus bracket of 0.05 plus parentheses 0.25 divided by 2 in your bracket times your t, which is 0.3333 divided by 0.5, the square root of your t. So that equals negative 0.1542 plus 0.1750 times 0.333 divided by your 0.2887, which equals negative 0.3322. Now, your D2 is just your D1 minus sigma times square root of t. So it's going to be D2 equals your negative 0.3322 minus 0.5 times square root of 0.333 equals negative 0.6209. Now, in your valuation problem, it says in parentheses D1, in parentheses. Now that is basically a z-score. So since we do not have access to Excel, I would imagine he'd have to give that to us in order to complete this type of problem. So valuation is going to be 30 times 0.3699 minus 35e raised to the negative 0.05 times 0.333. Then that is multiplied by 0.2673, which equals 1.8961 once you work it out. And that is the value of this when calculated by the Black-Scholes model. Alright, so now we're going to work on problem 8.6. Now this is not Black-Scholes, this is what he'd like to call the binomial version of it. So basically, you're given a stock price of 20, an exercise price of 21, but then it says it will either be $26 stock price or 16. So first you have to have P equals $20, which is your stock price. Then you have to have arrows coming to your upper bound, which is 26, and your lower bound, which is 16. Now to find U, you take your 26 and divide it by 20, and to find the D, you take 16 and divide it by your 20, which gives you 1.3 and 0.8 respectively. Then you move over to your call section of it. So the upper, well, if it's $26, you're going to have an exercise price of 21, which means your call for the upper is 5, and your call for the lower is 0, because if it is $16 stock price, you're not going to exercise the option because you can buy it cheaper on the open market. So now you have to find the number of shares, which boiled down is CU minus CD divided by PU minus PD, which equals 5 minus 0 divided by 26 minus 16 equals 5 over 10, which is 0.5. this means that instead of buying 1-to-1, you're only going to, buy 0.5 shares of stock. So in order to do this, you're going to need 26 times 0.5 for your upper, and then 16 times 0.5 for your lower, which gives you, so then your call will still be 5 and 0 respectively. So then the 26.5 is going to be 13. Then you subtract out your 5 for your call, which gives you $8. And if you do the 16.5 minus 0, it also gives you $8. So now what you're doing is trying to find the perfect hedge amount, what that will be. It's not necessarily buying one full share, but part of a share, like the 0.5. So you have to find the present value of the $8. So how do you do that? It's future value divided by 1 plus r raised to the t. And it says that it was compounded daily. So it's going to be $8 divided by 1 plus 0.5, which is 0.05, which is the interest rate. So you have to divide the interest rate by 365, and then raise it to 365 since it's compounded daily, which gives you $8 over 1.0513, which gives you 7.6096. That's your present value of your portfolio. So what makes up your portfolio? It's going to be 0.5 shares of stock and how much it cost to write the call. So your present value is 7.6096 equal to 0.5 shares of stock. So your stock price is 20 times 0.5, which gives you 7.6096 equals 10. Well, what is left? So you go 10 minus the 7.6096, which gives you which gives you the price of the call option of $2.3904. And that is how much it costs to write the call, or the price or value of the call option.